I am going to fly the drone over now. I'm going to just take off.
No, you're not.
Absolutely.
You're not allowed. There's overhead lines, power lines. It's against the law. You do that, we'll phone the police and you'll be arrested.
Oh, don't phone police. Come on, that'd be silly, wouldn't it? I will be quick, I promise. I'll fly over, and you'll just see it go across a few times, and I won't be long, yeah? See my drone license?
Yeah.
You don't need to...
Flying it over our facility, I need to see your license.
You don't need to see my license. Why would you need to see my license?
Property, and we've got intellectual property on that.
I'm about to take it over now.
You're not taking it over.
I'm definitely...
Phone the police.
Don't phone police. Come on, that's silly, isn't it? Just for a bit of drone footage.
Yeah.
Come on, don't be silly. Come on. Got two of them now.
Stop filming as well.
But, come on, don't be like that. Come on.
Been asked politely 3 times.
You at 999 in that, are you? Oh, are you kidding? Ring 101, that'll take ages, 101, won't it? But so I'm going to take it off soon, but don't be like that, come on.
The moment he prepares to launch the drone, he frames it as harmless, just a quick flight, nothing serious. But staff immediately shut it down, pointing out the danger of power lines and strict safety rules. They warn him that if he continues, they'll escalate it. He pushes back, insisting it'll only take seconds, brushing off their concerns as if they are overreacting. When asked for his license, he dismisses it with a shrug. No need for that. The exchange grows sharper, with staff standing firm on rules and property rights, while he clings to the idea of a brief, harmless flight. What starts as a debate over a drone quickly shifts into a clash of authority, respect, and who ultimately controls the space.
Okay, do you want to tell me then what you've been doing?
I'm not going to tell you anything that I don't need to tell you.
Right, okay.
You've just come here and just accosted me for nothing.
Right.
We've got guys out there shouting through, he needs to delete that footage.
Yes.
I need to delete my footage.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
There are basically 3 rules with filming, very similar to the use of CCTV. Yeah?
Here we go, come on. Come on, explain.
If you're filming yourself, you can do what you like.
Ooh, yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, you're filming me, you can do what you like, I don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
More than welcome to. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're filming a private space, so if you are filming, well, initially if you're filming a public space, you can do, but you need to be willing to show that footage to whoever asks. You also need to comply with the Data Protection Act, which means that you need to be willing to delete that footage should they ask you to.
Calling emergency services for something so trivial wastes valuable resources and pulls officers away from genuine crises. The fact that security rushed to escalate the situation instead of resolving it calmly shows a poor grasp of the law. Rather than managing it reasonably, they leaned on police intervention, hoping officers would simply side with them. This reflects a deeper problem. Call handlers and frontline staff need proper training on public photography laws to avoid unnecessary deployments. Far too often, businesses misuse police time to shut down lawful activities they simply dislike. In this case, when officers finally arrived, one of them completely embarrassed himself, revealing just how little he understood about the rights surrounding photography and public filming.
Yes?
No, yeah, you've got that all wrong, honestly.
No, I haven't.
Of course you have.
No, I haven't, because
it was covered by data protection, right? Can I just explain that? I'll tell you that. I'll let you on. I'll let you know then. Yeah.
Go on then.
Data protection only applies to businesses. It doesn't apply to individuals. There you go. Look, that's your first mistake. Yeah.
No, it does apply to individuals. And if you're saying it only applies to businesses, that's a business, and they've asked you to delete it.
No, I'm not a business so I don't have to delete it.
Right, you do.
You're talking rubbish on camera.
Ask you to.
You're talking rubbish on camera.
Because otherwise, no, I'm not talking rubbish, because otherwise, what you're doing is surveillance. Have you got a ripper? Have you applied for a ripper? Do you know what a ripper is?
A what, sorry?
A ripper.
What's a ripper?
A ripper?
No.
A ripper is the paperwork to allow you to do surveillance, which is what you're doing with that.
The officer confidently declares that anyone filming in public must show their footage on demand and even delete it under the Data Protection Act, an outright faucet that exposes a stunning lack of knowledge. The truth is simple. The Data Protection Act 2018 applies to companies and organizations handling personal data, not private individuals recording for their own use. An auditor or any member of the public has zero legal obligation to reveal or erase their footage just because someone demands it. Likewise, there is no law forcing anyone to surrender what they filmed in a public space. This claim wasn't just wrong. It was a glaring example of misinformation delivered by someone who should have known better.
I'm not doing surveillance, that's silly.
are doing surveillance.
I'm doing aerial photography.
Yeah, which is surveillance. Form of surveillance.
Can you identify yourself, please? Because you just walked up to me. And yourself, lady. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, what you are doing is surveillance. You've just said you're taking photographs. Yeah?
I haven't said that. I've not confirmed anything.
Right, that's a form of surveillance. You're telling me that you're filming, that you've filmed over there. That is a company. They've asked you to delete the footage of what you're filming there, of what you filmed there.
I won't be deleting.
Are you refusing to do so?
Well, obviously, there's
Why?
nobody. I'll tell you what. I'll let you know.
Right.
Then I'll let you know the law. That yeah.
Right.
Only a court can make me delete that footage.
Right.
Yeah.
The Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act 2000, often called REPA, was created to govern covert surveillance by public bodies like police, intelligence services, and local councils. It authorizes undercover operations, wiretaps, and surveillance tied to criminal investigations. What it does not do is restrict private individuals filming openly in public for journalism, personal projects, or platforms like YouTube. No one needs government authorization just to use a camera in a public space. If that were true, every tourist, journalist, or vlogger will be breaking the law daily. Yet here we see an officer tossing out irrelevant legislation, as if naming a complex statute might scare the auditor into silence. It's not just wrong, it's intimidation dressed up as authority.
Right.
There you go. You can't delete it, you can't ask me to.
Right.
Well, you can ask me to, but I don't have
There
to.
is a government ombudsman that deals with footage like that.
Lovely.
Okay?
Yeah.
They can take you to court,
Oh,
certainly,
my God. Yeah.
and they will prosecute you, and they will fine you, and it is hundreds of thousands of pounds, because it's the same rules and regulations that we use for surveillance.
All I would say is, good luck trying to get £100,000 out of me. I literally haven't got £100,000.
If you don't pay that, then it's potentially a prison sentence, then, isn't it?
Ooh, prison. God, I don't want to get in prison.
UK law is crystal clear. No private individual is required to delete footage just because someone demands it. The only lawful route for forcing deletion is through a court order or legal warrant. Even police cannot simply demand it unless the footage is lawfully seized under Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984, better known as PACE, and only when tied to a genuine offense. That's not the case here. Any attempt to pressure someone into deleting footage outside those legal channels isn't just wrong. It could amount to unlawful interference with evidence or even an abuse of police powers.
Well, I'm asking you nicely, will you delete the footage that you filmed over there?
You can ask, can't you?
I can ask. Will
I've not confirmed or denied whether I'm going to delete the footage.
Will you delete the footage? Please.
What would you do if I don't delete the footage? I'm going back over in a minute. The drone's going back up in a minute.
Right. Okay, well, potentially we can get officers here to arrest you and take you away.
Arrest me for what? Listen,
Right,
what
for
law?
breach of data protection.
That's not. You're under arrest for breach of data protection.
Right.
Yeah. You don't have to say anything when questioned.
Yeah.
Under arrest for data protection. Oh my God.
First off, there is no government ombudsman in the UK that prosecutes people for filming in public. Regulators like the Information Commissioner's Office oversee data protection, but those laws apply to businesses and organizations handling personal data, not private individuals recording in open spaces. Likewise, surveillance laws such as REPA apply strictly to public authorities conducting covert operations, not citizens with cameras. There is no legal requirement for anyone to obtain authorization just to film in public, and no ombudsman has the power to punish someone for standing outside and recording. As for the claim that an auditor could face fines in the hundreds of thousands, that's pure fiction. Those penalties apply only when companies mishandle personal data under the Data Protection Act, which has nothing to do with a member of the public filming lawfully. At best, this officer is embarrassingly uninformed. At worst, he's deliberately inventing threats to scare the auditor into backing down.
Can I just say, you're talking nonsense.
I'm
You
not.
really are talking nonsense. When the actual police officer gets here,
Yeah.
if I bother waiting for him, I might just get the footage now and drive off on my bike.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might just do that, but we'll see anyway. But I'll tell you what, we'll wait for the officer to come, and he will tell you you're talking absolute nonsense. You'll just walk off like, and that'll be it. Get in the car and go. Are you going to go now so I can finish my drone footage?
No, I'm not.
You're not going to go?
No, I'm not. No. You seem to be enjoying filming me, so...
This is crazy. So, are you going to waste police time just by standing here?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're intent on doing that, so...
I'm not intent on wasting police time. I'd like you to go so I can finish my drone footage.
Yeah, well, I've asked you to delete the footage, I've asked you to show me the footage, you refused both.
This claim isn't just wrong. It's downright misleading. The Data Protection Act regulates how companies and organizations handle personal data, not how private individuals film in public. There is no legal basis for arresting someone simply because they are recording from a lawful position. Even if a business were to break data protection rules, the outcome will be civil fines or regulatory action, not criminal charges that lead to arrest. What makes this even more absurd is that the officer himself admits he can't make an arrest, which instantly gives him away as a police community support officer, rather than a sworn constable. PCSOs don't have arrest powers unless specifically granted by their force, and in most cases, they don't. So not only was a legal claim baseless, the threat of arrest was nothing more than empty bluster.
Yeah, because I don't really want to.
Right? And you've not even explained yourself as to why you don't want to.
I just don't feel like it.
You don't feel like it?
Yeah. What did you have for breakfast this morning? Why did you have it? You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. And as I said, you know, you don't feel like it. You're being completely obstructive. You know, I've been completely reasonable with you. I've spoken to you politely.
Can I just explain to the situation, right, from a high level point of view, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So go on then.
I'm stood in a public place.
Yep.
This is a public place. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm filming from a public place. I'm flying my drone from a public place. I'm abiding by all the drone laws.
Right.
I'm abiding by all the filming laws.
Right.
You guys have come here telling me I'm committing an offence.
Yep.
And now you stood there and you won't leave.
Right.
And you've admitted that you're going to stand here wasting police time.
Right. Okay.
Crazy. We're in a really crazy situation here.
Okay. I've asked to see the footage. Why aren't you going to show me the footage?
I don't have to. I don't have to and I don't want to.
Right.
I've got more footage to get yet. You know what I mean? I've literally got... I'm running out of time to get all this droned over. I've got some other places I need to get to.
If you've filmed somebody and somebody asks you to then delete it, you have to be willing to at least show them with it and explain why you're not going to delete it, and explain to someone in authority.
Under what law? That ends the conversation, doesn't it, really? Under what law? If you explain to me the laws that require me to do something, if you explain to me the law that requires me to do something, I will do it.
When the auditor asks if the officer intends to leave, the response is a flat refusal. He openly admits to staying put, deliberately wasting police time, and even goes as far as declaring he won't leave until the footage is deleted, something he has zero legal authority to demand. At this point, the issue isn't about law or rights, it's about control. The officer knows he cannot legally force a deletion, yet he lingers, relying on intimidation in place of power. Rather than de-escalating and handling the situation professionally, he escalates it into a pointless standoff, dragging out what should have been a quick and uneventful encounter.
Have you flown over the factory?
I'd rather not say, but I plan to.
You plan to?
Yeah.
Right. Do you have permission to fly over there with it being private property?
What permission? This is what I've just been through with these guys. What permission do I need? What?
It's classed as private property there, so it's classed as trespass.
It's not classed as trespass. If it is classed as a trespass, if I were flying low causing a nuisance, that would be a civil trespass.
It is a civil matter, you're right.
That would be a civil trespass. So I don't know why you guys would be getting involved. But if I fly it high, it's not classed as a trespass. You don't. You know, if an helicopter flies over, you don't class it as a trespass, do you?
I don't think there's any sort of minimum horizontal distance anywhere with drones anymore. I think it's changed.
Exactly.
You probably know more than I do, to be honest.
Yeah, I reckon I probably do. So yeah.
This claim is pure nonsense with no legal foundation whatsoever. In the UK, there is no law that requires a private individual to hand over their footage, justify why they won't delete it, or seek approval from an officer. What this moment really exposes is how some officers invent rules on the spot, leaning on authority rather than actual law to pressure compliance. It's not just ignorance, it's the spreading of misinformation that risks paving the way for countless future abuses. And then, to make matters worse, a full police constable is called in at the request of the PCSO, who had already humiliated himself with his glaring lack of legal knowledge.
That's why I'm still here, because let me just tell you this, right? I'm not stupid, right? If I were committing a crime, yeah, I would have been on my toes now on that little bike, and nobody would have caught me. But I'm not committing a crime. That's why I'm still standing here. I just want to prove to everybody that I'm, you know.
I don't think you have committed a crime.
Excellent.
You've been handcuffed.
Exactly.
However, I've got to try and work with you.
Yeah, you can
so
try and work.
In terms of when you're flying a drone in public, like you're doing now, you can film anywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody can stop you.
Yeah.
You're entitled to film what you want. which isn't an issue. However, once you cross over the border into sort of where factories are, it's classed as private property, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's no.
How would you feel if somebody encroached into your private home and started filming you?
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's residential. So if
Well, it is, but it's still private.
If you fly over somebody's residential house and you're like looking in the windows or something, that's covered under privacy laws.
Once the actual police officer takes charge, he immediately makes a false claim, insisting that flying a drone over the factory amounts to trespass. But even if low-level flight could somehow be classed as trespass, it would fall under civil trespass, not a criminal offense, which means police have no power to enforce it. To drive the point home, the auditor uses a simple example. Would a helicopter flying overhead also be considered trespassing? Of course not, because airspace isn't owned in the same way land is. The officer's inability to grasp this basic principle of drone law doesn't just show confusion, it shows he walked into the encounter completely unprepared.
If you're flying over like a business or something like that, just getting some aerial footage and whatnot, there's no.
You're supposed to seek authority from them first, really, because it's their private property.
But that's an opinion. That's not a fact.
It's
you know.
not.
Yeah,
It's a fact. It's private property.
No, because I tell you what, then.
It is a civil matter and it is trespass.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. As soon as you've been so nice to me when you come over, you kept your distance or whatever, I'll let you know, because I'd know a bit more about you than the drone laws. Yeah. Basically, I can fly over there with this sub 250 drone. I can fly over the private property, and that's because they do not control the airspace or own the airspace. The Civil Aviation Authority controls and owns the airspace, and there are no. I checked before I launched. There are no controls in place over this airspace here.
The officer's argument completely blurs a line between residential privacy laws and public airspace regulations. Rather than sticking to facts, he leans on emotion, hoping the auditor will back down. But the law is crystal clear, and the auditor isn't fooled. Under Article 8 of the Human Rights Act 1998, individuals have a right to private and family life, which means people inside their home can reasonably expect privacy. Filming directly into someone's residence could cross into harassment or a privacy breach, especially if it intrudes on their personal space. But this protection does not extend to factories or industrial sites, which simply don't carry the same legal shield. By ignoring this distinction, the officer reveals just how weak his argument really is.
So, for instance, prisons and airports, there are controls in place.
You're right.
Yeah. So you can't fly over them because the Civil Aviation Authority says you can't, and it's actually a crime to do that. Whereas the airspace over this facility here is not owned by this facility. They can't tell me whether or not I can fly something over or not. It's literally owned and controlled by the Civil Aviation Authority, and there's no controls in place.
Have you finished for today?
Nearly. I have got a little bit more. When these two arrived, I had to stop filming because I just wanted to have a quick chat with them just to make sure they weren't going to jump me out.
I don't really know that.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I just thought I'd just.
Well, we're not those type of people.
Yeah, good. That's really good.
You've got a job to do. If somebody raises concerns, we've got to come and speak to him.
Absolutely, yeah. What you'd be best off doing, just nipping in and just telling him what he's doing is completely legal. That would be your job today. You'd literally just go in and just say, look, I know you might not like it, but what he's doing is completely legal. We haven't got any jurisdiction. The guy's not committed a crime, so we don't have any power over him.
In the UK, it's the Civil Aviation Authority, not private companies, that regulates airspace and sets drone restrictions. No-fly zones exist around airports, sensitive government facilities, and other areas designated for safety or security reasons. Outside of those zones, drone pilots are free to fly provided they follow CAA rules, such as keeping visual line of sight and avoiding dangerously low flights over people. This encounter perfectly highlights a recurring problem: officers enforcing laws they don't actually understand. Instead of checking the legal framework, the officers simply assume the company control the skies above their property, when in reality, they have absolutely no authority over the airspace.
I know, yeah.
I say I've not got an issue with you. You don't always give your name right, are you?
Oh no, definitely not. No, thank you. And there we go, guys. This guy knows a little bit more about policing than the PCSOs, which I'm not surprised about, really. I mean, we're only trying the best out there.
The auditor makes a valid point. If officers genuinely want to cut down on wasted call-outs, the smart approach would be to educate the business and make it clear that public filming and drone use aren't police matters. Instead, Too many officers get dragged into pointless back-and-forth arguments with lawful auditors, which only reinforces a false belief that something illegal is happening. By failing to educate businesses, police guarantee the same scenario will repeat. Officers dispatched over perfectly lawful activity while real crimes go unattended. It's more than just a waste of resources. It's a cycle of confusion that could be broken in minutes with proper guidance.